Hello everyone, my name is Mr. B, and I would like to welcome you to my first ever podcast. I have chosen a topic that I feel is very important to students with disabilities, and that topic is self-advocacy. I've been a teacher of students with special needs for some time, and I have seen that students who are strong self-advocates are more successful in school. I'd like to start with a definition. According to the dictionary, self-advocacy is the act or process of advocating or supporting a cause or proposal. Now that's a lot of words, but what's important to note here is the word cause. In this case, the cause is you, and what you're doing is sticking up for your rights. When you become a strong self-advocate, you are taking charge of your own future. I think it's fair to say that the better you do in school, the more successful your future will be. Right now, I hope that each one of you has someone who advocates for you. That may be your parent or your guardian or a teacher. What's important to realize is those people may not always be there, and so you will need to take charge of your own advocacy at some point in time, especially during school. So what are the components of self-advocacy? I'm going to talk about 3 of them. The first component is knowledge of self. You have to know who you are and what you need before you can tell others who you are and what you need. I've chosen this picture of a kitten who clearly sees who he is. Like this kitten, you need to know who you are. You need to understand your disability, how you learn, and what accommodations you need to be successful. You need to know your strengths and your weaknesses before you can tell anybody about them. The second component is knowledge of rights. We know that every human has rights, but you also have rights as a student with disability, and they are granted to you through a law known as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The third component is communication. You need to find out who your key people are and how to contact them if necessary. You need to effectively communicate your needs and your preferences, and you need to be willing to ask questions and ask for clarification. Now when I talk about communication, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about yelling in someone's ear. I'm talking about effectively communicating your needs. Now there are several steps to self-advocacy, and the first step is to accept your disability. I'm reasonably sure that none of you asked to have a disability, but it's important to realize that you do have a disability and that you accept that it is part of who you are. Once that happens, you can admit your disability. In this case, I'm not talking about running down the hallway yelling, "I have a disability." I'm saying that you admit your disability to those who help you learn, and those people are your teachers. Step 3 is understanding your learning style. Everyone learns differently, and if you understand how you learn best, you can use it to your advantage. For example, if listening to music helps you learn, then it's important that you recognize it. And I encourage you to go online and take a learning styles quiz to find out how you learn. Step 4 is to know what you need. If you know what you need, you can pass that information on to your teachers. For example, if you know that you learn better by listening to a textbook on tape or CD, ask your teacher if he or she has one. If you know that you need a test read to you, then that will help you do better on tests. Finally, think about what you need in each class. Not every class is the same. What you need in English class may be different than what you need in math class, and it may be very different than what you need in a shop class. Be aware of what's going on in each class, and you'll be more successful. So that's a basic introduction to self-advocacy. I think you'll find that if you can develop the skills we've discussed during this podcast, you'll do better in school and have a much brighter future.